Hey everybody, we are one. We're one in the spirit. We're going to do an offering of fire and wood and get the spirit, which is holy smoke. And we're going to dive right into 1 Timothy. We're going to learn about Timothy and what his book's about, and then we're going to read his books.
And they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love.
There's my offering to Hashem.
We will walk with.
So as we walk with the Spirit and we're led by our conscience, which is now clear or getting clearer every day, let's look at 1 Timothy and see what his background, theme, message, and when he wrote this letter. Or Paul wrote the letter to Timothy. Okay? So remember, Paul's Jewish. So during the fourth missionary journey, Paul had instructed Timothy, good to know, to care for the church at Ephesus, which while he went to Macedonia. When Paul realized that he might not return to Ephesus in the near future, sort of like Jesus coming back in the near future, or Moses coming back, or God coming back, at that point, are we waiting patiently? Are we sick? Are we healthy patients? Aha. So when Paul realized he wrote this letter to Timothy, he repeatedly states his desire and determination to visit Timothy. Totally feel that for God and Jesus and Moses and Jeremiah, which shows that he was not in prison when he wrote the letter. So, the date and author, both the early church tradition and the salutations of the pastoral letters, confirm Paul as the author for 1 Timothy was written about 64 AD. 64 AD. Christianity started about 300, 325 in Constantinople with Constantine. At that point, this is all Jewish people. Weren't they scattered? Yeah, scattered seeds. So you'll hear in the salutation, the beginning, how it is. So, the theme and the message. The letter was written to Timothy to give instructions. The entire book was written to us, so we should follow the instructions. Regarding the church, Paul wrote to develop the charge he had given his young assistant. You, me, our new... Don't you want to be just a water boy in the temple of God, which is really smoke? Don't you want to be a smoke guy? Bread, wine, smoke. So at that point, a major problem in the church was heresy combined with Gnosticism, whose central teaching was that the spirit is entirely good and matter is entirely evil. Decadent Judaism, which taught that a number of the ceremonial practices of the Old Testament were still binding on the New Testament church, and false asceticism, with its belief that the body should be treated harshly. Interesting that everyone's got their belief. So we're going to close this, we're going to open this, and we're going to get to 1 Timothy, and we're going to see what he says in his letter, well, what Paul says in his letter. Because it's really important as we flip and flop to know what the apostles were talking about as we get to 1 John, 2 John. We're going to end on this anyways. So you know what? We'll pause there. We're going to open up the next video in the next tour. We're going to actually start 1 Timothy. For now, we'll grab our offering and we'll say thanks for joining me on the tour, subscribing to the air of the channel, subscribe air, Baruch Hashem, and enjoy your readings and breathings.